In leadership, body position matters. Horses and people both pick up on how you hold yourself. Your body position matters. When you're leading a horse, it's no different than when you're leading people. They should never be way too out in front of you or behind you. You don't want to be pulling or pushing. When you're walking in front, the horse could perceive you as the leader to follow. But it could also be that the horse experiences this position behind you as he's chasing you, just like with people. So who is leading who? Walking shoulder to shoulder is often referred to as walking in the foal position. But with dominant horses, this is the perfect position. Whatever position you choose, let the horse know that you are consistent and what you expect of him to follow when you're in that position. What horses can teach us about leadership? When working with and leading people, you walk with them. You don't leave them behind, and you don't push or pull. You be consistent in your praise and your leadership style. If asked what makes a great leader, most of us would find that hard to define. The subtle mix of skills it takes, and with very good reason. The majority of human communication is nonverbal, and the most successful leaders have honed their skills to be able to say what they need to say without even opening their mouths. And you can see this as we're turning around the barrels. It's done with gestures and kindness and nonverbal communication. Leadership, you need to have a plan. When you enter the arena or a workplace. And if you don't really know what you're doing or where you want to go, a horse and your employees, well, they'll just take the lead. You have to plan in advance. Know when you're turning around to the left or around to the right. Because when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. A horse or your employees will lose faith in your leadership if you don't have a plan. In order to work with a horse, it's necessary to establish trust and assert your authority, but through your body language. Horses won't respond to persuasion or yelling, so you have to rely on the way that you carry yourself and your own sense of confidence to succeed. In the fast-paced world of business, you can often leave workers overwhelmed, and many managers have a tendency to keep piling on the pressure. When you work with a horse to complete a task, it is essential that you have patience. And as with most things, you'll find that the more time you devote to getting it right, the better the result will be. So using a demonstration of allowing the horse to touch the ball, giving a treat, maybe kick the ball, giving a treat, it takes consistency. Just when you're working with people, the same rule applies. You send your horse and employees consistent messages and actions. Horses and people respond better to clear, consistent messaging. When A is A and B is B, we humans are sometimes a lot less consistent. Sometimes the A is an A, but tomorrow the A is a B. One day we let the horse patiently wait for his carrot or treat, and the next day he is allowed to rummage in our pocket because we're really too tired to say something about that. The day after, we decide to be more consistent again because we're fit again. Don't expect your horse to follow the rules if they are inconsistently enforced. Inconsistent leadership leads to an inconsistent, obedient horse, and it's an imbalanced and frustrated mind. Always keep an eye on your surrounding. Horses are aware of what's going on all the time, and that was a new skill, walking over a piece of plastic. They have a heightened sense to always find food and new travel. Be aware that you stand between the danger and of your horse, or what could be perceived as danger. You would do the same for an employee. If you're fearful and you display weaker energy, that gives them leverage over you. You need to learn to breathe calmly and give your horse the feeling that you have the situation under control and that you're going to protect them, just as you would do with an employee. Having awareness of what is going on around you, knowing what is happening for others in the office, and you don't tune out, you have to stay aware. If a horse or an employee misbehaves, do not react with aggression or frustration. Use calm but assertive energy. Never overreact or discipline your horse or employee out of frustration or anger. Dominance should not be controlling. It is a partnership projecting calm and assured energy that will create a positive and lasting connection with your horse and with the employees. When you're a leader, you really have to know yourself. You cannot create balance without self-knowledge, and you cannot achieve leadership without balance. If you're a balanced leader, a happy and successful relationship will follow. It's just like backing over the poles or walking through the poles or asking the horse to move sideways. You have to be assured, confident, and reward on time. And again, if the horse is not obeying, you have to redo and not be frustrated or aggressive. You always have to stay in the leadership position. You can't be a leader some of the time. Leading never wavers from the leadership role, and neither should you. Remember, leading doesn't start and stop in the riding arena or in the office. It's ongoing. You need to lead all the time, not just some of the time. And leading goes from beginning to end. Working with and observing horses, it is an effective way to learn how to communicate without talking, but rather by the way you project yourself and your actions. Horses are pack animals, which means in order to survive, they must work together in harmony. When a group of horses first meet, you'll see plenty of bravado and jostling for position, but in the end, it's the horse who is able to assert their authority with the most strength and integrity. Sometimes only a simple nod of the head is needed. Let horses guide the group, keep them out of danger, find food and other essential resources for the herd.